and inclusiveness becomes big challenges. It isn't enough to pass along orders. Leaders must show compassion by giving permission to feel emotions such as fear, anxiety, frustration, anger, and helplessness in times like these. Power sharing is passing on the authority to do the best in the place where you are. The skills required in this are to become a successful power sharer are listening and high degree of empathy. Listening and high degree of empathy. Listening is the most ignored and underrated skill, but it is the very foundation of people management skills. One critical function of leadership during this intense turbulence is to keep a finger on the pulse of the people's energies and emotions and respond as needed. This function cannot be completed without the basic act of listening. The importance of listening can be well understood by the famous quote on organization culture. The biggest concern for any organization should be when their most passionate people become quiet. I repeat, the biggest concern for any organization should be when their most passionate people become quiet. This is the biggest indicator of lack of listening skills in the organization. Only emotionally intelligent leaders will be able to listen. A person with a balanced IQ, EQ, PQ, that is physical quotient, and SQ, that is spiritual quotient, would be able to successfully share the power he or she enjoys. A leader who would be a power sharer would commonly be using the phrases like, "Tell me something more." Okay, I really appreciate that. So, what do you think about this? I think I have a different perspective on this. Are you okay? And finally, the most important, I'm sorry, at times when it is required. This would be the inclusive leadership, which assumes that all team members feel they are treated respectfully and fairly. They are valued and are confident and highly inspired. This would channelize the emotional energies of the teams in positive engagements. The limitations and distance will not matter, and the organization will be able to overcome the crisis. Along with listening, the second is empathy. When you listen passionately, when you listen without being judgmental, you would understand the other person's point of view, and that's empathy. And you would be caring, and not just caring to show to others, but caring from the heart, and which would be visible in your behavior and the response. The third challenge is to be a learner forever. Yes, the leader has to be learner forever and not an expert. The workplaces are multi-generational, and tech savviness in most cases is reversely proportionate to age. We have been seeing the technology problems, especially faced by the senior teachers like us. The way businesses was conducted for years is suddenly replaced by a new normal of the day. Work from home, which was considered as a luxury by some people previously, today is a compulsion for most of us. The wide range of brick to click combinations in the corporate world are increasing. Globally, you can see so many new terms being used for retail business, from brick to online to completely online. Now we have a new one called O2O, that is online to offline, where you would be ordering online and your local Kiryana stores is going to deliver you the services. And the leaders are struggling to match up or catch up with the changes taking place around us. Especially the traditional experts in their respective areas with years of experience behind them are suddenly struggling with simple things like Zoom meetings, sharing of technology, information or instructions through online media, checking the connectivity of the people and commitments. All this being done virtually is a big challenge, and people are learning, and leaders will have to learn it faster than the others. This challenge of becoming a primary school student kind of a learner can be successfully done with the help of two skills, that is emotional courage and connected to others. The two skills required to overcome the challenge of being a learner are emotional courage and connected to others, that is connectivity. These two must be supported by the confidence in self and commitment to the purpose. Unless and until you are confident and you are committed to your purpose, you would not be able to apply the skills of emotional courage and connectivity to learn. Yes, a leader who is confident, have a strong belief in his or her abilities and is highly committed to the purpose would be able to approach some reverse mentor to learn new things. Reverse mentorship requires high degree of emotional courage and also the right network to identify whom to approach. It requires a person to be emotionally high courageous to not just identify his or her lack of expertise, but also to go out and seek help from junior, from colleagues and from anybody else. And that too without losing the positional power that we have in our head and without losing the confidence to face the juniors as I don't know it all. The fourth challenge is lack of standards for the performance measurement of productivity or work, especially when work is done from home. Yes, in very simple terms, if I have to name this challenge, the challenge is called lack of standards for performance appraisal for work from home. Organizations had been giving too much of importance to the appraisal techniques. A ritual which is conducted quarterly or annually, deciding the bonuses or grades of the employees. Although, even during normal times, appraisals had been a topic of debate, the parameters used, the procedure used, the weightage, everything had been questioned and debated, and work had been going on in this area. But this COVID-19 situation had thrown a new challenge altogether. People working from home are struggling with over flexibility in the working hours. There is a blurring line between office timings and 24/7 connectivity. And others, that is the bosses. I'm using the word boss here, not leader. The bosses and some rigid managers are treating this work from home as people enjoying paid vacations at home. Leaders are again at the crossroad with no standards to measure performance or productivity from remote working. HR software systems like Bitrix24 are being used for monitoring the online remote productivity of the employees, but it's still in its nascent stage. The skills needed to overcome this challenge are trust and inspiration. Trust, yes, the leaders will have to trust the employees. And trust has a very strong, very strange nature. It's highly mutual. Trustworthiness of an individual is directly equal to his or her power of trusting others. If I am committed, I have to believe, or I do believe, that majority of other people are equally committed to the work. So instead of looking for standard tools and parameters, a leader must trust his people. The efforts being put in, the honesty in trying must be valued more than the outcomes. The second skill, that is inspiration. A leader can only inspire when there is consistency between the deeds and the preaching. So a leader must focus on people, and people will take care of the business. Here I would like to mention a report by Psyche Consultation. This report is called Mind Match Report, and this report is about categorization of people who are working from home. How these people should be engaged, what work should be given to whom, who would be doing a better work of the work that would be assigned to him or her. This study has come up with, and you can refer to, you can visit their website, or you can just, I have the copy of report, I can share that with everyone. They have, on basis of a research, they have classified the people working from home in 5 different categories. The first category is the challenge driven people, second is instruction driven people, third is reason driven, fourth is people driven, and the last one is hierarchy driven. And all these 5 categories will have their own pros and cons, and as a leader you must be able to identify which individual belongs to which category and give them the right engagements. So if the leader understands his people, he would not have to worry about checking the performance or productivity. The results would speak for itself. The last challenge is moving from human resource approach to human approach. We need to do away with the term resource. Human is not resource. Human is human being. And when we talk about resource, the resources are something which is non-livable, but human beings are alive. They are individuals. They have emotions, and they are a person as a whole. And the biggest challenge before leaders today is to accept people as human beings and do away with the reasoning of treating them as resource. If you treat them as human beings, they would become an asset for your organization. There are no two ways about it. Leaders can no longer afford to treat people as just a resource who is expected to behave in a thorough, professional way, shutting himself from whatever is going on in his or her personal life. You have to look at people as a whole. They bring their complete self to the workplace. They cannot be compartmentalized as professional life and personal life. We are not machines. We have to be able to give best performance. We can't be expected to be giving the best performance all the time. There are bound to be highs and low period. There are going to be non-performing days. Give people a little freedom to fail at times. And do not judge them as losers forever. There is so much being posted and talked about mental health, especially after sad suicide episode by Sushant Singh Rajput. But it is the most ignored area in organization cultures. Leaders today need to understand that they are dealing with people, and these people are somebody's son, somebody's parent, somebody's daughters or daughter-in-laws, and they have responsibilities apart from being the employee. The constant struggle of striking a balance between work and life is the biggest cause of stress, and you have enough studies proving it. This is also the biggest cause of mental illnesses in people. In fact, the term work-life balance itself is an eye-opener. This says work is separate and life is separate. The leaders can overcome this challenge with the help of two traits. One, become an accelerator instead of perfectionist, and second, the Ramban, or the biggest thing, what we call humility. When we say accelerator, the leader tries to drive people to perform better by supporting them in their highs and lows. And this is diametrically opposite to being a perfectionist, where there is no scope for failures or non-performance. The last and the most important trait is humility. Humility is defined as the quality of being humble. It means the freedom from pride or arrogance, the strong sense of belief that I am no better than others, the quality of having a modest or a very low view of one's importance. अपने आप को भगवान ना समझने की, ना मानने की क्षमता is called humility. It is humility which would teach the leaders to understand that the whole person is comprising of various emotions like pain, anxiety, fear, personal loads. When he comes to office, he has to be treated as a person. Everyone is fighting their own battles. We are not even aware of their struggles. We have to be kind to each other in our organization. We should not punish people for small mistakes or failures. We should give them a fair chance to perform. We should be humble. It is the responsibility of the leaders to start a positive chain reaction which would touch the lives of other people, and hence the society would become positive. And maybe someday, through this chain reaction, we would rise a few steps ahead in the happiness index. I would like to end my deliberation with this last quote. Leaders, today and always, must remember, आपने क्या कहा, लोग भूल जाएंगे. आपने क्या कहा, लोग भूल जाएंगे. आपने क्या किया, ये भी लोग भूल जाएंगे. लेकिन आपने लोगों को कैसा महसूस कराया, ये वो कभी नहीं भूलेंगे. Thank you so much. जय हिंद.